Before I thought about making this video, I looked at what I had for vegetables and pasta, and I had similar, but this is still a little different. And the main reason I'm doing this is, if you would have seen my stack of vegetable video, you have a ton of vegetables left over, and what are you going to do with them? This is when you have a lot of leftover vegetables and you want to have pasta. And this is all the garlic with the olive oil that I have left over from yesterday making the stack. So all of this is going to go into the linguini. And I found this in the supermarket. It's a little different. It's 100% durum wheat, semolina flour, and the pasta has in it dried carrots, tomato, and spinach. Well, since I'm making a vegetable pasta, why not use this? So I'm going to slice everything. This is fettuccine. So fettuccine is long, and what you don't want to do is dice up your vegetables, because they just fall to the bottom of the plate or the pan when you mix everything. If you julienne them nicely, what they'll do is wrap themselves around the fettuccine, and you'll have a good amount of vegetables on every bite. So let me slice everything up and get going here. Before I start cooking this, and this is going to be a one-pot dish. I like it, and so does everybody else. The knives. This is my favorite for slicing straight through things without the knife curving. This serrated edge is very popular. The only problem is when you're slicing down, since the serrated edge is, how do you explain this? Anyway, it will pull the knife and it won't go straight. Unless you're Superman, you force it to. So I use both of these. I use this knife for slicing wheels of eggplant, and then I use this one to make the julienne. And now, in a few minutes, I'm going to start on this. I'm going to saute everything, just with salt and pepper, and the olive oil that's in the back. When everything is cooked, take it out, and then put the water here and boil the pasta. Now, are we going to saute everything in one shot? I don't think so. Zucchini and yellow squash are so full of water that'll take about maybe a minute or less to cook. So we put it off to the side, and we will cook the peppers, onions, and tomato and portobello, and then after a couple of minutes, then we'll throw in the eggplant. But that's going to be fast also. And then right after that, the zucchini, and we're going to put some salt and pepper in there. You do that to your taste, but remember, you do need it. And that's all we're going to put, and then because we have the fresh basil. Now, if you want to use other herbs in there, you want to throw in some oregano, well, throw in whatever you like. I'm only using the basil because it happened to be left over from my last video of the, and all that garlic. It's good, especially since it has that roasted flavor on it. And that's it. If you want to use butter in there also, you can, but it's a fairly healthy recipe aside from using gluten, but that's okay. So as soon as this gets hot, I will start. Well, I hear a little crackling in there. That means we're ready. I'm going to hold up on the tomato also, because the tomato is not tomato where you're making tomato sauce. So we can see a little bit of it in there. And I have this on a very high flame. I don't mind if I get a little color. So we got to season this. I'm using my little mixture of salt and black pepper, which makes things easier. Remember, this is to your taste. And I can tell already how this is going to look. I'm going to use the one box of pasta, which is 12 ounces. I don't feel like saving like 4 ounces. I know what the correct portion size is if you're watching your weight, which I am, but I had 3 egg whites boiled for breakfast today, and a very light lunch. Oh, you could throw capers in here too if you like capers. And while that is doing, I have a choice about the basil. Either just throw it in or mince it up. So, being lazy that I am sometimes, I'm just going to throw the basil in. And when this is all done, everything together, I'm going to throw it into this skillet that's sitting next to it, put the water in here with salt, and boil the pasta. Like I said, a one-pan meal. Now, if you like your vegetables al dente, you would take them out now. But I don't want them to have more of an al dente chew than the fettuccine is. So I'm going to cook this a little bit more. And besides, if it gets softer, it'll be able to wrap itself around those long strands of fettuccine easier. Yeah, you have to keep on mixing things when you're working like this. So some pieces sit on top of other pieces. Make sure you have everything ready that you need prior to cooking. Cut up, chopped up, whatever it is. I'm going to throw in the eggplant. And in about a minute, I'm going to taste the tomato. I'm going to taste this for salt. I think maybe I didn't put enough. Now if you notice, it's a very high flame. And nothing is burning, because there's a lot of moisture in what's in there. You notice things aren't breaking up. They're very nicely fondling each other. Now I don't have to taste the ingredients. I could just put the spoon to my tongue. You know, that tastes so good. That is so good. If you like vegetables, you're going to love this. And now we're going to add the zucchini and yellow squash. Notice how, and just a little more salt, because we did just add quite a bit of stuff. And this is going to take 1 more minute. And then we will set this up for pasta. Now, You don't really need to watch how to cook pasta. All you need is a lot of water. Like in here, I'm going to put about 3 quarts of water and 1 to 2 tablespoons of salt. And the water has to taste salty, and you don't need any kind of oil when you cook pasta in the water. Somebody taught me that like 200 years ago, and when I learned really how to cook pasta, I go, boy, that guy was not too bright, didn't really understand how to cook pasta. A lot of water, and you're guaranteed no starch, no sticking, and that's it. And salt could give the pasta its own flavor. So when you're done cooking it, if you wanted to eat it just plain like that with nothing, you would enjoy it. Okay. Notice, that's it, we're done. I will shut this off. Thank you very much. Put it off to the side, and then I'll cook the pasta. Boiling water. I tasted it for salt. It's fine. I'm going to put the pasta in there. But I like, well, since it's a one-pot meal, so I use the same pot, but I like cooking the pasta in this than in a tall one. Depends on how much, because it's just easier to work it. All right, so when my pasta is done, I'm going to drain it. Never wash it. Never, ever wash pasta. And see, when you have a wide pot like that, you don't lose any of the heat. Never wash it. If you have a sauce and you washed it, then the sauce has become watery on your plate. So there's no reason to wash it. Unless you make it 3 hours in advance, which you shouldn't. Now when this is just about done, I have the vegetables sitting right there. No flame. When it's just about done, I will turn the flame on just to warm them up slightly. Because they're still warm, but you want them a little hotter. That takes care of that. There's the pasta, all done. This time I won't forget the basil, which I do sometimes. The last ingredient, hiding someplace in the kitchen. This one is easy to clean. You really didn't do much in it. Now, this is always the fun part, to see how this mix is. If the vegetables are going to do what I want them to do, and it looks to be the right amount of vegetables for this amount of pasta, which was 12 ounces. There we go. We'll put some on a plate just to get a look at it. Then I'll put some cheese over it. And that's it. It's really nothing special, and it looks healthy, and it probably tastes good too. Enjoy.